When is the best time to focus on recovery? I know it sounds like a super silly question, and you may be thinking right now, Sean, I want to get out of this. But believe it or not, look, I talk to people every day. It's what I do. I help people overcome anxiety. And actually, one of the biggest obstacles I see is when is the best time to start? So in this video, I'm really gonna break it down and tell you when is really the best time to start. And yes, the simple answer is now, but it's a lot more nuanced. So definitely stay till the rest of the video and see, is this stuff that you're doing, are there certain parts where you feel like it's holding you back, so that you can really focus on understanding how the recovery journey looked like. And I'll share you with my own personal experience what recovery was like and all the things that was happening outside on the periphery of recovery as well. So with that said, let's go and get it started. So before we dive into the video, if you really enjoy the content of this video and the content of this channel, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot, and it allows us to provide you great content to focus on your recovery journey, especially all this free content. And so it really helps out the channel. So with that said, let's dive into it. Now, when is the best time to recover? Now, a lot of people say obviously right now. However, there are a lot of complexities here. And the first thing I want to mention to you is that recovery doesn't happen in a vacuum. What I mean by that is that there's not a single time where all you're going to do is focus on recovery. Okay, well, everything else is taken care of, school, business, children, I'm just going to focus 100% on recovery. Recovery doesn't happen in a vacuum, okay? There's no perfect time to recover. And a lot of people say, I just want to get out of this. The physical symptoms are just too intense. The intrusive thoughts are just so scary. Shaan, I am so numb from the derealization, depersonalization. I'm feeling such weird emotions that there's absolutely no way I can keep going on like this. And so I need to get better right now. And so what happens is that typically what people will end up doing is that they will counterbalance how they're feeling with other things going on with their life. Sometimes I will actually hear people say, yeah, listen, I really want to get better. I really want to do this. My life has changed so much. I can't even go on holidays with my kids, but I'm just not working right now. I'm not because of my anxiety. And so it's like this weird cycle where it's like they're not working because of their anxiety. And so sometimes getting this problem fixed requires an investment. And so whether that's in the mentorship or anything, right? Even guidance. A lot of this is focused on investment, just like anything in life, right? Just like fitness, just like personal life, just like education, just like professional stuff. So you have to invest, right? And so what happens is that they kind of get in the cycle where they can't do it because they're not working, and they're not working because of their anxiety. So they're just in this hole. They're between a rock and a hard place, and they're just stuck. And so I know it's very easy to say, focus on recovery right now, obviously, but people have different situations. You have different situations. I had different situations, right? So when I was struggling, I was 22 years old. I had just graduated. I personally felt that I had a lot of ambition. I thought I had a lot of potential graduating, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do some really great stuff. And then just for this to get hit. And I was a student, I just graduated. I was working a little bit, but I wasn't making a lot. And then this thing happened. And so I didn't know what to do. I was stuck. But luckily, I spent $30,000. So even though I didn't have any money, I found a way to make a lot, to spend a lot of money. And so I did anything I could to get better. And so during that time, there was a lot of potential for me to just be like, look, it's just not a good time to focus on recovery. I got to get back to working first. I got to make back my money. Or I got to go back to school. I got to do grad school. But this was a very good quality about me, which was I wouldn't settle. I wouldn't settle till this problem was fixed. I was always big about having a full life, and anxiety hindered my life so much that I was like, there's no point in living until I get this problem fixed. And so the problem with that was I was very goal-oriented, a little too much. I was on the extreme side. This video is more about people on the opposite side, where they're not willing to take the initiative because they talk themselves out of it. They cheapen themselves out of recovery because of whatever reason. Financial reasons, personal reasons, maybe family reasons, maybe reasons with a spouse, maybe whatever. Literally, there's a million different reasons. The reason itself doesn't matter. The point is that, look, when it comes to living, none of it matters if the foundation isn't there. And what the foundation is health. Health isn't just physical health. Health is mental health. And a lot of people would put spiritual health in that category too. And so if that's not taken care of, nothing else matters. I want you to understand this. Me going through, if I was still in the anxiety cycle, none of this would matter. I wouldn't be able to soak and enjoy this. I wouldn't be able to enjoy the sunset or even make this video and focus on this video if I hadn't had this problem addressed. But what I often see a lot of people is that they'll push their recovery to the side. They will put other things as a bigger priority, which to me is kind of ironic, because it's almost like when you're going through this, you understand how important mental health is, right? You do, right? Mental health awareness, we talk a lot of people talk about that, and I feel like nobody understands that better than somebody actually going through it. And so part of mental health is getting it addressed. And sometimes I see people push it to the side. Even people that are going through it, they'll downplay mental health. They'll say they'll be mental health advocates, but they won't really address getting the problem fixed. And so I know this can be kind of a triggering video, and it can come off as kind of pointing my finger or like blaming or anything like that. I want you to understand, all these videos come from love. These videos aren't coming from somebody. Yes, it's coming from somebody who guides people, but it's also coming first and foremost as a human and somebody who's been there, who understands what you're going through, who understands how difficult it is, how it can feel like this is going to be you for the rest of your life, that it's just, why did this happen to you? What did you do to deserve this? How terrible this is. I would always say anxiety is one of those things where I felt like something was so wrong, but no one else could see it. It was like this bomb went off, this apocalypse happened, and no one could notice it but me. And so my biggest thing is getting people better, getting people back to living. And sometimes that's also pointing out things that may be a little bit not easy to see. And so one of the things I always talk about when it comes to anxiety is owning responsibility of recovery. Recovery is 100% in your hands. It really is, right? It is in your hands, but sometimes people just don't know how to get to recovery, right? That's just the thing. Recovery is in your hands, but you just don't know where to go. But it's 100%. Look, I can tell people what to do. That doesn't mean they'll do it. And if they don't do it, does that mean like what I'm telling them is wrong? No, it's right, but they're not doing it. If you do it, recovery is yours. If you don't do it, it's not. And so in that sense, recovery really is in your hands. And so sometimes it's also about minimizing these obstacles and these things that are quote unquote important, but don't bring you inner peace. So the most important thing to understand is your inner peace. Don't make external things a justification not to get better. I want you to understand something. Everything that happens in your life, the joys, the sorrows, it's not external. Everything happens within you. Everything. It's not something else doing something. Something may be triggering you that makes you happy. And this isn't something I made up, right? A lot of people talk about this. A lot of people that talk about happiness, a lot of these gurus, a lot of people that talk about self-development will always say it all comes from within. And so I want you to understand, nothing is more important than your inner peace. Nothing. Yeah? I want you to understand, as somebody who's recovered, who's someone who's gone through what you've gone through, I would never trade this inner peace for anything. Anything. Give me all the money in the world. Doesn't matter. Give me everybody to help recover. If I help this whole world recover, it doesn't matter if I have the inner peace. I would never trade it for the world. And so have that same idea when you're focused on recovery, and don't let these obstacles get in the way, because I see it happen. And it's sad to see, because I see people cheating themselves out of their own recovery. And if recovery is in your own hands, then you have to sleep in the bed you made. And there's a certain thing where if the right answers are in front of you and you choose not to take it, then that's not really anxiety's fault there. And so, again, it's not about fault. It's not about pointing fingers, but it's more about just results. Like, what is the right thing to do? And the focus should always be on long-term freedom. And if you do it, it's not a matter of if. You will get better. Okay? You will actually get better. You will 100% get better once you just focus on the right things. Don't think, oh, I will do it, and if I get, you will. You really will. The longer I've been doing this, genuinely, I'm not saying this as a coach, I'm not saying this as a mentor, I'm not saying this as somebody who helps people recover. I'm genuinely saying this because this is what I truly see. The more I'm doing this, the more it becomes increasingly clear that recovery is attainable by anybody. Certain things people can do. I am not going to say everyone can become an anxiety coach. That's not true. Anybody can recover though. Anybody. Assuming they've gotten everything physically ruled out, right? Everything's physically ruled out and they got a clean bill of health and everything's there. Everything's been addressed. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more I do it and the more people I see and the more people I help around the world, different countries, different caste, creed, genders, you name it, different ages, different occupations, same thing. They all get better. They just needed a little bit of guidance. It's not their fault. And it's great that they're able to invest in themselves. And that's the biggest key. So that's what I would recommend. And so with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, give it a thumbs up if it's helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.